Dang, my dude, you've been hurt, I can tell, and I've been there. But let me tell you one thing. The people who are putting this height requirement on love are not actually looking for love. So I would actually say that it's infatuation and just simple fleeting attraction. But what's actually love is not shallow. Shallow is never to be associated with love, because true love is pretty much deep and it's intimate, and that's what people are actually looking for. The people that you're talking about, they're not really looking for love. They're just looking for a fleeting. Oh yeah, there's a lot of INFJs in anime. Right off the top of the head, I'm thinking of Jinora from Legend of Korra, Avatar Roku from actually Avatar: The Last Airbender, the girl that Light Yagami was with, that was in competition with Misa in the anime Death Note. Yeah, there's a lot. But those are just some three that I could toss to you right now. I believe that it's more important to become the one rather than looking for the one. But also, number two, I actually don't really believe in the one. Instead, I believe that there are multiple people in the world that you can actually have a thriving relationship with. However, when you find that person, when you find one of these people that you can have that amazing, thriving relationship with, and you can't even live without this person, and you can deal with everything they bring, that's the one. You're right. There is only one correct answer, and the answer is no. I do not like pineapples on pizza. Like, again, it's just a very weird combination. I don't judge people who do like it, but I just think that they're wrong. Cause like, that's like me throwing some sugar on there. Do you want me to just like put some? Why are you having sweet on top of tomato sauce and all that? I don't know. That's just weird to me. But it's just my take. This is such a good question, and in brief, my answer is no. I personally do not believe in that, because I think there are so many different ways that somebody can cheat, and why they cheat is the most important thing. So having a conversation with this partner, like, okay, what led to this decision? Are you in love with the person? Was it just a mess up that, like maybe I'm not even giving you enough for whatever reason? Let's talk this over so that maybe we can salvage it. And if it's just a notorious thing, then it's like, I actually spend a lot of time interpreting dreams. I think that it's one of the ways that the soul is telling us what God is trying to tell us, what our subconscious is trying to tell us. And there's been a lot of dreams that have helped me to be able to identify deeper things about myself, about other people, and help them identify things about themselves. And so I actually try to record all the dreams that I have before I lose them when I wake up. And it's been very helpful. From my perspective, it's pretty much based on how well you know Jesus. So it's not about behavior. It's not about, how many times you go to church or anything like that. But it's like, yo, if you die today, if heaven and Jesus and everything is real, and you see Jesus, will he be like, yo, what's up? I know you weren't the most perfect person, but we hang out, yada, yada, yada. Or will he be like, sorry, I don't know you. How can I allow you into my home? That's how I see it. There's often a fear that there's either going to be an erotic or a romantic or both type of element that evolves into the friendship. And like I often say, I think that people need to learn that there's a difference between romance and even erotic feelings, and that there can be intimacy within platonic dynamics. But if they can't learn that, then of course, well, they can't be friends if they're opposite genders. Cognitive function theory, and I don't mean just like the E versus I, N versus S. I mean like actual like Myers-Briggs cognitive function theory. Also love languages, Enneagram, knowing your partner, knowing yourself on a deep cognition, like a cognitive type of level, it's done so many wonders for me. And it might be work, but that work pays off so heavily. And I feel like if more people knew about it, we'd have an overall better society, especially in understanding each other. Honestly, I think moodiness, like the inconsistency of a woman's mood at times. And it's not to speak badly about them or even talk about, like their menstrual cycle and stuff like that. But I think that just not knowing when you're going to speak to her and she's actually going to laugh, or if she's going to give you attitude and just be kind of like dry, that inconsistency can a lot of times turn a lot of guys off, in my opinion. Whether or not the woman can actually control that, I don't know. But just speaking as a guy. I think it all depends on your values. Like for me, I've always wanted to be the type of person that when I get married, I tell my wife like, yo, you were the first person I'm ever doing any of this with. But at the same time, I can see from many other different perspectives how, it's probably more of a experience that people would want to like experience with other people and explore. So it all depends on what your values are. At the end of the day, because some people can actually regret that. And I've seen that, and I don't want to lie to you, but a lot of people also really love that they waited. Ooh, you hit me with a good one. Okay. Honestly, I believe that Jesus was heavily against abortion, or would be heavily against abortion. I don't think that Jesus would approve of that. But I also don't think that he would like the idea of it being in the government as us controlling people from doing that, because Jesus is not a forcible person. So why are we going to try to put the government to force his laws? I think he wants us to choose him, not to be abused into choosing him. Honestly, I love to meditate. I wake up in the morning and I stare at the ceiling, for example, for at least 30 to 45 minutes, this ceiling fan. And I just kind of sit there and allow my mind to wander. And that actually, sacrificing that bit of time of sleep, it actually helps me preserve more energy throughout the day. But when I'm stressed, like throughout the day, then I just find another center place to just. I would definitely try to talk to my coworker and let them know, like, hey, man, you've been kind of slacking, or if it's a woman, hey, I feel like you probably haven't been putting in your best work. And I'll try to figure out why that is before I have to, see, if I can help them or if they need to be terminated. Good question. I kind of low-key saw it coming because I was on Twitter the night when Kanye started tweaking, talking about everybody knows that Get Out is about me. I was like, oh shoot, I don't think I knew that, if it's even true. But either way, he was talking a lot about Kim, and I think also him becoming a Christian and everything, that just wasn't gonna fly that well with him and Kim. So you don't recall Okoye and Wakabi, or even Nala and Simba? Absolutely. I think that submission is, well, first of all, it's a very broad term, but I think that it's kind of like when you're in a car, somebody's always going to be driving, but you can still listen to, and actually you probably should listen to the person that's in the co-pilot seat, because they probably have a lot more guidance, and if you don't, you're just probably a bigot. That's my opinion. Honestly, I'd have to say just having a partner, somebody who goes through life with you, who you can come home and you can talk to, and somebody who's always willing to allow you to explore their mind and their heart. And you can be sure that they are also happy to explore yours as well. There's no greater level of intimacy. And I just think that's beautiful. So that's my favorite thing personally. I can't speak for all men, to be honest, but I know that for me, it's very important because I'm already a very sexual being. And it's my way of expressing what cannot be said through words. I'd like to think that I'm very verbose, but at the same time, there's just certain feelings that you just cannot express through words. That's why we hug people. That's why we make out. And so when we want to express our appreciation for a person, then I think that a lot of times it comes out through sex, and women might not understand. Although I find this kind of odd when it happens, I certainly believe that if you marry somebody who's white, you can still be pro-black. For example, looking at Jordan Peele, who's married to a white woman, although he creates a lot of content in favor of black people, which if you're looking at the definition of pro-black, it's somebody who is in support of black people and the black economic system. And even though, again, it's kind of odd if you marry a white person, you're still supporting. There's just different levels, I suppose. It depends on what you mean by matter. I know that everybody's different sexually, so if I'm constantly being compared to her past partners, then yeah, that'd probably be an issue. But, if, we are able to have our own intimacy and we just see it as our own thing in that way, I would not really see the past partners as competition of some sort, because what we have is special, you know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't stop me from being with someone like that. People are far more capable and complex than we think. Like, even when it comes to doing like good and bad things, and so we should never put anything past them. But also that means that we should spend more time trying to understand them and even pray for them, maybe, rather than judge them. So a lot of people, you know, they might be capable of doing things in the right situations that you would have never expected. And rather than judging them, we should have mercy on them and try to understand where they're coming from, because sometimes it could be you.